When it comes to military power, the United States Army is the best in the world, and with all of their futuristic technology in the works, they will soon be able to claim both air superiority and ground superiority. However, with this new technology in the works, the United States will be one step closer to achieving ground superiority, and in today's video we will be looking at the United States' new Robotic Combat Vehicle, or RCV for short. To begin with, we would explain what the RCV is and how it works. The Type X Robotic Combat Vehicle, RCV, is a revolutionary unmanned tracked infantry fighting vehicle, IFV, designed to suit the multi-mission needs of armed forces throughout the globe, is currently under development. In order to minimize the number of troops on the battlefield, Milrom Robotics, an Estonian supplier of robotic solutions, is creating the Type X vehicle. It is suitable for carrying out operations in risky environments while keeping the needed number of troops out of harm's way at all times. There are essentially two versions of this new robot on the market. Light and medium versions are payload independent and may be outfitted with a variety of modular mission payloads such as CBRN detection kits and smoke obscuration modules, as well as electronic warfare (EW) and different armament systems depending on mission configuration. The light version, RCVL prototype, which weighs less than 10 tons, is capable of supporting reconnaissance-related operations, while the medium model, RCVM, which weighs less than 15 tons, is capable of supporting direct fire augmentation. The heavy version prototype, weighing between 20 and 25 tons, may provide decisive lethality to the unit to which it is deployed. With the RCVs now under government control, work has begun on integrating autonomy into the systems, which will take some time. Following the completion of the autonomous integration process, the RCVs will be coupled with their human control vehicles for deployment. The vehicles will subsequently be put through their paces in preparation for a Soldier Operational Experiment (SOE), scheduled for mid-2022. It is reasonable to conclude that if a third global war breaks out in the year 2030, the United States will be well prepared, since these quick and hard-hitting vehicles will patrol the battlefield with no need for human involvement or intervention at all. According to the head of the fledgling program, the future robotic combat vehicles of the United States Army will be reminiscent of the Ghost Army of World War II. In the future, the agency expects that armed robots will be deployed, giving it more firepower and equipment to carry out tough and risky tasks that might otherwise endanger human lives. In addition to surveying the battlefield, these vehicles will be responsible for engaging in skirmishes against humans and other robotic scouts, as well as conducting full-scale fights against highly armored opponents. Amazing, right? So for this portion of the video, let's have a look at the overall design features of the RCV. With the integration of improved sensors and other components, the new Type X RCV will be built on a completely flexible design approach and open architecture that will allow it to be used for a variety of functions. The vehicle measures 0.6 meters in total length, 0.3 meters in width, and 0.22 meters in height. In addition to having a curb weight of 12,000 kilograms, the vehicle also has a payload carrying capability of 4,100 kilograms. The unmanned IFV will be capable of transporting a variety of payloads using the same interface, allowing it to satisfy the needs of a wide range of missions. The vehicle has the capability to operate in a completely autonomous mode in the absence of a crew member. When fully loaded, the vehicle will weigh around 12 tons and be capable of fast deployment in conflict zones. While on the battlefield, it will function as a complement to the main battle tanks and mechanized forces while also shortening the response time. The autonomous IFV blends enhanced artificial intelligence (AI) with a remote system operator to provide a more complete picture of the battlefield. A heavy-lift helicopter will be able to airdrop RCV because of its light construction, which will allow for either parachute or underslung transfer. A compact volume and minimal heat signature distinguish the RCV from traditional infrared vehicles. It has a capability of transporting mesh-enabled communication modules for the purpose of relaying wireless communications. Because of its rubber tracks and hybrid drive, the vehicle will have significant reduction in maintenance expenses. It is possible to transform a vehicle into an autonomous or remote-operated platform by using Intelligent Functions Kit by Milrom Robotics, IFK. And now for the part we know you've been looking forward to. Let's talk about RCV weaponry. As stated earlier in the video, according to the latest reports, the RCV is the biggest and most powerful military robot out there and would most likely be armored against machine gun fire and artillery shrapnel. Heavier air tank missiles, such as the forthcoming Joint Air-to-Ground Missile System, might be mounted on it, as well as a chain gun. Despite the fact that the RCVs can be used with any Army ground troops, they are most commonly used with M1 Abrams main battle tanks and M2 Bradley infantry combat vehicles, among other vehicles. The Army is currently replicating RCV operations using antiquated M113 armored personnel carriers that have been adapted to operate without crews. When equipped with a multi-role Cockerel Protected Weapons Station Generation 2, the Type X RCV may be considered fully operational. This low-profile, lightweight, remotely controlled weapons system has a hatch aperture that may be configured to meet specific requirements. When the hatch is in the proper position, the crew will be able to alter the position of the hatch in 3 different modes depending on the mission requirements. Various 25mm and 30mm medium caliber weapons, such as Northrop Grumman Innovation Systems M242 25mm by 137mm Bushmaster cannon, the 230 LF 30mm by 113mm cannon, and Nexter 25mm M811 cannon may be mounted on the weapon system to meet the needs of the mission. The system is also compatible with anti-tank missiles such as the Al-Qatan, MMP, Javelin, and Spike, allowing it to provide the highest possible degree of defense against tanks. The turret provides a 360-degree panoramic view and is equipped with CCD, infrared, and fused imaging cameras to allow for remote surveillance of the surrounding area. The weapon will include a hatch opening that will enable the autonomous vehicle to be reloaded quickly from the outside. The Type X vehicle suggested for the U.S. Army's RCV-M requirement may be equipped with a 50mm gun and a drone that can be linked to the vehicle system to provide situational awareness throughout the battlefield, according to the company that developed it. With a diesel-electric propulsion system that incorporates both the JP-8 diesel engine and fully charged batteries, the Type X combat vehicle will be able to outrun its adversaries. On rough terrain, the rubber tracks will provide more mobility and smoother ride due to their softer compound. The vehicle will have a range of about 600 kilometers. Due to the fact that the RCV is still in development, soldiers will be tasked with driving the Army's Robotic Combat Vehicle through extensive testing in 2022. The Army received both the light and medium versions of the RCV in 2021, and they immediately began working on small teams in preparation for a company-level review scheduled for later this year. According to Army Times, the RCV underwent 2 weeks of live-fire tests in mid-2021 with troops from the 3rd Infantry Division doing training for the robot Battle Buddy that is slated to fight alongside the next-generation combat vehicle. It was at Michigan's Camp Grayling Military Training Center in April 2021 that the Army tested an RCV-L demonstrator. In addition, it is equipped with a common remotely operated weapons station, Javelin, CROWS-J, and remotely operated anti-tank missile launcher, which can target and destroy a tank from a distance of 1.5 miles away. Furthermore, a quadcopter is mounted aboard the ship for aerial surveillance tasks. The United States Army isn't the only ground combat force that uses unmanned ground vehicles in battle. A robotic combat vehicle equipped with 30mm cannon and 4 Ataka anti-tank missiles, the Uran-9 is used by Russia's ground force to defend the country. The Uran-9 was purportedly tested in action in Syria in 2018, and despite the results being less than spectacular, some would say disastrous, Russia is moving forward with the development of its first Uran-9 combat unit in the country. Meanwhile, the People's Liberation Army ground forces, popularly known as the Chinese Army, are testing a variety of uncrewed ground vehicles, including the Norinco Sharpclaw and the Dragon Horse, both of which are manufactured by Norinco. Research into unmanned ground vehicles will ultimately be successful, and robots will eventually take the place of human ground personnel on the battlefield. Despite these difficulties, militaries have a strong incentive to get this right, so it's not a question of if it will happen, but when. So what do you think of this new insane RCV robot, and how long do you think it will take for it to become completely incorporated into the US military? Remember to drop your comments below.